Hey guys, I've been getting a lot of questions about my happy little pig here, and this comes obviously under the healing your book category. And there's a story in Matthew, Mark, and Luke. We'll actually look at it in Mark. Um, that never sat well with me when you hear it, and I think most people when you hear it. My friend Carrie from New Zealand sent me an email, and she said, "Well, the story goes like this, guys. So there's this demon possessed man supposedly, and he begs Jesus to cast the demons out of him, and the demons jump in this pig, this herd of pigs that's nearby, and they begged him. It says it doesn't say that. It says the word within. I'll show you, but anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So the story was there's these pigs supposedly they hanging out, enjoying themselves, uh, not causing any harm, just grazing, and jump out of this man and into the pigs, which then the pigs causes so much chaos and demonic activity in them that they run and jump off a cliff and drown. Sorry to laugh, but once you read it, you're like, no, this is not what it is. So there's my happy little pig. And my friend Carrie from New Zealand, she goes, I never thought that was fair to the innocent pigs or the farmer that owned them. Right, right. What if you're the farmer that owned the pigs? You're a pig farmer. Next thing you know, you got PETA on your case because the unethical treatment of the pigs. Then you got the farmer on your case, God's on case, like, what did I do? Why did I lose those pigs? And we're just taught to suck it up and eat it. Because that's what it is, much to the chagrin of all the deliverance ministries. They should hide their faces when they actually read what it says, but they won't. And so the great news is it literally is about the second covenant, the abundant feast of the second covenant, the finest meal that all will enjoy. And so it's about the assurance of God that we will all experience a second covenant, the feast of God himself, the passion, the shin, and the life of God himself is really what the story is about. So let's go to Mark. I just love that little guy. So anyway, let me get to Mark. Let me just read it in English first. And this is out of Mark 5. Like I said, it's also in Matthew and Luke and similar stories. Anyway, I'm going to start down here. When the man, verse 6, when the man saw Jesus from a distance, he ran and fell on his knees before him, and he shouted in a loud voice, what do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I beg you before God not to torture me. You've learned enough now that not may is literally L, and torture is basanos. It literally means to test for purity. This is the testing of purity of God within you that exists. But don't confuse the English translators. For Jesus has already declared, come out of this man, you unclean spirit. I'm going to show you unclean too, why this is so important. Any negative, whether it's sin, unclean, disobedience, unrighteous, all are a mistranslation of alpha from the Hebrew aleph. In the original Greek and the original Hebrew, guys, it's a picture of an ox, which meant the strength of the creator, the strength of the ox. You're strong as an ox, where we get those sayings, the unstoppable power of God. Well, modern Greek doesn't read right to left. It wasn't pictographs, and it can mean a, nay, a not, or a negative. But I'm telling you, there's no unclean spirit. This is the spirit, guys. And it is the catharsis, the cleansing of God. What's in your name? So my name is Legion, he replied, for we are many. And he begged Jesus repeatedly not to send them out of that region. There on the nearby hillside, a large herd of pigs was feeding. The demons begged Jesus, send us into the pigs so that we may enter him. He gave them permission, and the unclean spirits came out and went into the pigs, and the herd of about 2,000 rushed down the steep bank into the sea and flew and drowned into the water. Except it doesn't say that. Anyway, the good news is it's all good. God's not unclean to animals, and there's not an unclean spirit in you. The only unclean spirit is you thinking there's unclean from the deliverance ministries and the no's and the nots, guys. That's just a misuse of the creative ability of God within us. So anyway, let's start with verse 10. And they begged Jesus repeatedly not to send them out of that region. Let's just start there. All right, let's go to interlinear. Verse 10. All right. And it says, and they begged Jesus, except it doesn't say Jesus. Very interesting. It says they begged Autun, him. This is the left top, noon. There's an Autun and Autus, and Hatu and Hatus. You'll see a lot. It's just the hey. in front of it. But here's Aleph Toph of the Upsilon, the man within. And then Nun, Omicron, is the life or the offspring that shall be revealed within. So this is not them begging Jesus. This is the parakale, the call to encourage. This is the para from close beside you, where we get paraclete, the Holy Spirit, the one close to you, the word kaleo, the nature of the one close to you, the calling or the naming. Name is nature or the word. And here you've got korah. And if you understand a little bit of Hebrew, you got kuf, which is the back of the man's head. So in the unseen, the resh is the highest point of the man, and aleph is the strength of the ox, the creative ability of God. So here, literally what this is saying is this is the creative ability of God of the top of the man's head in the unseen within yourself. Exactly. That's what it says. Pola, numerous times, is just that everybody has, really. The much, the many, the multitudes have this. That not is not. I'm showing you this. I'm just showing you. Once you get it, a lot of people are joining all the time. Those L and in, and so L is never used as no or not, a part of negation, guys. Never, ever, 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 ever. It's El Shaddai. It literally, if you go look up Hebrew, the Hebrew word for El, it says God or gods, Elohim, Eloah or Elohims, and as the strength of the ox of the rod of God. That's all it is. Now, thank you that they translated it as not, that this is the strength of God, atah. So here you've got the strength of all strengths, that the finished work of all finished works of the man of the covenant within. That's atah. He would send apostle, despite all the prophets and prophetesses. They're not prophets and prophetesses, guys. That means they're sent out as semen, if you really want to know it. That's why I kind of joke, if I am a prophetess, if you if you think that's what it means, well, good luck. That's not what it means. I have to laugh because if you ever get on fellowships, it's like when people send me emails, I am a prophet of God, like, really? Wow, that's crazy. Because you don't know what it means. Apostella. Apo is be to sent out. This is the seed that's cast out of you, that's sent away from you. It's not an apostle, guys. It's not people running around prophesying about God. It prophesies that this seed cast out shall carry the nature of the Father. Out of this Koros, country. Well, this is the land. The land, you and I, the earth. The symbolism, guys, was the sea, which we can show you in a little bit too. But the sea, this was the physical stuff within the sea. So Korah, and I'll show you that swine is real close to this, as well as charis, where we translate grace. So anyway, all I wanted to show you here is this is not they beg Jesus. It doesn't say that, even though verse 10 in English says, and they beg Jesus. This is the nature of the one close beside you within, that everybody has, that will be sent out of you, the land, the physical part of you. Now let's go to verse 11. Okay. Verse 11. And so how it's translated, nearby there was a herd of pigs, great feeding. Okay, so N, very interesting. I'm not going to go into these words. You can go look them up yourself. But here you've got the nature, the life, or the offspring within yourself. Near the mountain, Ore, pros. So here's what it says. And now near, comma, pros. This is face-to-face and intimacy towards, pros. And literally it's pay. It's the word from the resh, the highest part of a man, the passion that you shall come to understand or be revealed to you. You'll come to know this passion of the ore, comma. Well, what is this? This mountain. It's a lifting up. It's very similar to a rising, a scene. This is a rising of the intimacy. The mountain, the nearest place spoken of the mountain. In Septuagint for R, it's where Noah's Ark would get Ararat. It's not to accomplish the most difficult, guys. It's the unlimited power of God. It's stupendous, incredible. As lifting up itself above the plane. See, similar to arrow, to raise, to take, lift up. If you keep digging, it's the same as histemi, cause to stand up. It's an arousal, guys. There's an arousal face to face. A gel of the pigs, great feeding. This is the great feeding of everybody, guys. So we can go look at this. Herd, a Gaelic from a go, to bring, carry, the multitude, a person or animal, to drive, the leading of the herd, of basically to lay hold of. This is the laying hold of. The laying hold of of koron. I showed you it's very close to, let me move this here. It's very close to charis, which we say grace. It's very close to the word I just showed you, but here's chorus, guys. So maybe I should show you grace real quick. So you've got kai, ki, however you want to say it, oi, ros, koi, ros. It's a combination of u, which means lo and behold, it shall be revealed, and omicron, you shall come to understand whatever this swine is. All right, it's very close to charis. You've got the same kai, chi, however you want to pronounce it, of the strength of the ox of ris. So let's go back to this though. Koi ros. All right, so koi, if you go look at the Greek word kai, chi, however you want to pronounce it, people pronounce it differently, but it literally was added. It wasn't the original Greek. There were letters added at the end, like omega was added at the end. But if you go do a little digging, it was literally a picture of the of taf, basically, or chet, where it was a picture of two hanging legs, or two joined together in covenant, which is taf. So this is the covenant, omicron iota. So this is the seed that's been cast, iota, omicron, which is for ayin. You can go look up all these letters in Greek. And I'll go through unclean here in a minute with you to show you it's not there, guys. All the negatives are not there. So chorus. So this is the covenant, the seed of the covenant that you shall come to understand, rus. So you've got resh, the highest point of the man, the shin, the covenant meal, the fire that shall be revealed, swine. This is the feast of all feasts. Now, really interesting, this is the Greek word for swine, is real close to grace, charis. And if you do some symbolism, guys, if you go look at the pigs, this is where we get, I just did a simple search. Symbolism of pig, Wikipedia. Pigs have long been considered to be symbols of good luck, prosperity, and wealth. In Chinese culture, the pig is seen as the bringer of good fortune, and in Celtic tradition, the pig was a sacred animal that represented fertility, abundance, and nourishment. It's funny when you go start digging around in Roman society, it meant the meal, the meat of all meats. So literally why they translated as swine, the Greek word for swine, is because this is where we get these terms to eat like a pig, to pig out. It means the overflowing, abundant fertility, abundance, and nourishment, guys. Very close to all of that. So anyway, translated as swine. So this is the abundant, overflowing covenant meal of Magal. That's great feeding, the feeding of the great feeding, the great pasture, the great grazing that all will come upon. Let's see if unclean is in the next one. Oh yeah, okay. And they begged him. No. There's no him there. There's no, just like I said, they begged Jesus. Jesus is not there. It's the same word, atun. So they begged. Oh, is this what I just did? Okay. So here's where's unclean? Maybe I'll get back to that. Let me just get this verse while we're at it. So, and they begged him. No. This is the parakalesin, to calling forth the exhortation or the encouragement from close besides kaleo, the nature, the name, maybe to make a call. This is the calling up, the offering up of the the one close besides you, within yourself, atun, the left taf of upsilon, the man, the finished work of the man of the covenant that shall be revealed, and un. So you've got the noon, which is 50, which should give you Pentecost, where they were immersed in the Spirit. It didn't mean they were praying in unknown tongues, guys. This is the word that was not known, like English, French, Spanish. This was the one in the secret place, the hidden declaration, the silent one. So it's so interesting. So anyway, this is noon, the life, the offspring, or the seed that shall come to understand of the finished work of the man within themselves, comma. This word, legantes, sent us into ice, the point or pinnacle reached or entered, properly into, literally motion into, implying penetration into union. So this is the penetration into union of the choros, of the ultimate feast, guys. This is not sending demons into pigs. Good Lord. This is us. This is the penetration or the arrival of us into this tous. So you've got taf, shin or tau shin in Greek, but sigma in Greek. But they go. I can go show you where they all are. I'll show you how to do this with the unclean here in a second. But u is that shall be translated no or not in your scripture. I've shown you that in previous services. It literally says you shall behold, which is the letter hey, the letter of grace. So it'll happen to you. It's the grace is always passive, means it happens to you. So this great message, guys, is this is the penetration and entering into union of the feast of all feasts, korus, translated as swine or pigs. But it's the ultimate feast, the ultimate meal of the joined in covenant. So that this is the ina. So this is the iota, the seed that's released, and the offspring that released of the strength of God, the penetration into this union of the passion of God that we may enter within ourselves. We're going to look at this unclean real quick. Where is that? Hold on. Let me get out of here. Let's get into where it says unclean. I'll finish with that. Anyway, I'm trying to show you this has nothing to do with the demons jumping out into a pig and then jumping off a cliff. Maybe I have to. Oh, it's the next one. Okay, let's go to 13. He gave them permission. All right, that's where it was. I got ahead of myself. All right. And he gave them permission. What? And he allowed them? They put a capital H here. It's a verb, guys. It's aorist tense, by the way. And it's a verb within yourself. So whatever this is happening. This is the passion of the covenant, the intimacy within yourself that he allows? No. Just like they're not begging, Jesus says this is the parakaleo within yourself, the calling out, the word that's cast from within yourself, to entrust, permit, from epe, trope, aorist, passive. So this is happening to you guys. So trope is a turning, a changing, epi, upon. There's a different change. This is the change within yourself. And having gone out, so this is the exaltanta, it's been expelled out of you. The pneumata, the spirit, ta, interesting that's not translated, isn't it? Because in Hebrew, it's left off. If you read it right to left, the original right to left is a left off right there. Just like it's not translated a left off in Hebrew. They don't know what to do with this either. So let's go look at this unclean. But this is literally what it says. And they entered into this point of union, the passion of the covenant within the ultimate feast. Where's all this happen within yourself? So this is not an unclean spirit, guys. Unclean, impure. Adjective derived from not, katharos, clean. You got to understand, when a woman was cleansed by the blood in Hebrew is the Hebrew word dam. Now the Latin's translated as physical red blood cells. So when they say it was like a crown of thorns, the thorn was the pointy object. It was like that coming from up here, and the blood dropped to the earth. Now they have this picture where it's blood dripping from this guy in extreme passion. Get the passion, guys? It's like this. It's a passion within yourself of the pointed object, the thorn. Anyway, when you were cleansed, guys, it means that you're no longer spotting or blemishing. The woman's period is no longer happening. Why? Because she's been cleansed. Doesn't mean she was not clean because she was having her period. This is how they translate it, where they go, oh, they had to yell unclean, unclean. No. This is that literally, if you go look at it, it's the word of cleansing. So not katharos, to be cleansed, purity, to be innocent, upright, guiltless. This is the cleansing of God, guys. That means you're impregnated by God himself. Well, thank you, translators. They took alpha as no or not, and I've shown you they can't even bring themselves. It says typically they put it in italics, meaning added, guys. This is added. These are added. This isn't. We don't know what this is necessarily. Never used as no or not. The 4 times alpha is used, but let's go look at alpha in both Greek and Hebrew. Okay, so let's look at Greek first because we're reading this in Greek. Okay. Like I said, you don't have to know any of this, guys. I'm just healing your book. That's what these are all about. It's all good news. There's literally, what if the good news was only good news? That would be wonderful. So anyway, and I promise you it is, guys. I've spent thousands and thousands of verses, and once I find like, okay, this is where it all came from. This is all the negatives, all the stuff that, like, why would God do that to the pigs? That's not fair. Is like my friend Carrie goes, that's not fair to the farmer either. Yeah, Christians, what if you were the farm owner? You wouldn't just go, you'd be the first ones to file insurance claims. You're the first ones who don't love your neighbor as yourself and just forgive. They demand justice. Sad to me. If you really knew there was unlimited abundance, there was no need to demand justice, guys, because there's an unlimited supply of everything that you thought you just lost. But anyway, so let's look at A, alpha. Alpha, the first letter of the Greek alphabet. No, we're not. No. So, unforgiveness, same thing, guys. All the negative things are not there. But alpha, let's go look at Strong's. Of Hebrew origin, the first letter of the alphabet, figuratively, only from its use as numeral, the first, alpha. So anyway, it's of Hebrew origin, the first letter of the alphabet. All right. So let's go look at that alpha in Greek, okay? And these are not hard sources, guys. You can do this on Greece.com and go to info, their language, or you can go to Wikipedia. I can show you that too. You don't need 4 years of Bible school to understand this. It'll probably get you farther away from what the Bible actually says. Let's look at alpha. Alpha, the first letter of the Greek alphabet. It derives from the Egyptian hieroglyphic, meaning the picture for a horned ox's head, by way of the Semitic aleph, which today, that was the original. It never means no or not, guys. It meant the strength of the creator, the strength of the leader, the strength of the ox. God's power is unstoppable, the strength of the creation, which today doesn't look like anything like an ox. Well, the problem is it got translated in modern Greek, and A can mean no or not, like asymmetrical, asymptomatic means no symptoms with a modern A. Original Hebrew and Greek, guys, alpha, aleph, only meant the strength of the ox. So let's go to Hebrew. So I just showed you, it comes from the Hebrew aleph, which was a picture of an ox. And I've shown you this. If you go to Hebrew for Christians, now they're going to get the Western slant in here, but at least you can start to understand. There's tons of sources, guys, where you can look at what these 22 letters actually mean. And then the Greeks added some letters. But let's go look at the left. I've shown you this. So left. All right. So the pictograph, just like in Greek, looks like a picture of the ox, the strength of the ox. The letter left is the father of the alphabet, whose original pictograph represents an ox, which means the strength, the leader. Numerical 1 is also 1,000, means the largest number, the multitude, everyone, which is, you're going to see the 2,000 again. It's like the feeding of the 4,000, the feeding of the 5,000. Guys, it has nothing to do with 5,000 people laying around. And mysteriously, the loaves and fishes, go look at the numbers of those guys. 2 fish, 5 loaves, I think, right? Is that right? Yeah, so 2 fish, the symbol of the fish was 50, which is the spirit, right? Or the noon, the life or the offspring within of the 5 loaves, the bread within the basket, the ket, you. So that feeding of the 4,000 and 5,000, despite all the movies that are coming out right now, is not what it's talking about. But anyway, don't confuse them with what it actually says. Whose original pictograph represents an ox. The strength of leader also means 1,000. Now, here's what's interesting. So you've got the yod. If you go look at this, the yod, meaning of the arm, was strength of God. Picture of a fist, it's the smallest little yod. And in Greek, it's iota. Iota means the little, 1 iota is like the small little iota. Anyway, you've got the finished work or the seed that's released, that has the ability, the strength of God to create in the earthly realm. Vav is a man, the resting man. And you've got the divine realm, the spiritual realm. You've got the yod, the finished work, or the seed that's released in the spiritual realm. The ability to create the strength of the ox, the strength of the leader, both physically and spiritually, which is exactly Genesis 1, guys. Now, what's interesting is if you take the yod of a vav, the gematria is 26, the same as yud he vav he, which is exactly right. So yod hava. So yod is the seed or the finished work of the strength of the seed that's been released. Number 10. If you go look up 10 in Greek in the New Testament, everywhere it lists, it says double entendre. So sexually explicit, needs to be told in story, meaning we finished the work of hava, the man within that shall be revealed. Hey, vav, hey. Anyway, the strength of the man from within that shall be revealed. That's the strength of the ox, the creative ability of God. So both Greek and Hebrew. Doesn't take a lot of Bible study to show you that. So let's go read it again. So akathartos, they translate it as no or not. I've shown you there's nowhere in the original Greek and Hebrew or used in scripture that it's no or not. Yet sin, unrighteousness, unclean, disobedient, all of those come from mistranslation of a and whatever comes after it. So akatharsos, translated as you're unclean, literally, guys, means the cleansing of the strength of God yourself. You're impregnated by God himself, right? The Spirit has gone out. This is the cleansing of God himself. You've entered into union, literally motion into which implies in penetration. There's a penetration and a motion into union. Tous, the finished work of the covenant of the meal of all meals, the choros. So hopefully that heals your book, guys. I promise you, it is not something negative. God's not being, there's no unclean spirit. It's literally the cleansing spirit of God himself that you shall enter into the covenant meal of all meals, the swine. You'll pig out. Everybody will have this meal of all meals and enjoy the feasts of all feasts. So hopefully that helps, guys. They didn't beg Jesus to come and go into the pigs. That would only happen when pigs fly.